Welcome to tutorial 5. In this one we're going to be showing you how to change the graphics, and this is using the Bingo source code that we've made available at moneyfromapps.com. And this was built to reskin, so it's really easy to change the graphics and there aren't very many to change. So if you decide to hire a graphic designer, it shouldn't cost a lot, or you can really take this into your own hands. And at this point we are starting to work on a graphics tutorial that should be available on Udemy. So do check back and see if you want to take that course and you can do all the graphics yourself. And that's one of the reasons why we really recommend this source code. Is not a lot of graphic assets, really easy to reskin. But if you choose not to use this source code, you can use this whole tutorial as sort of a guideline of how to reskin any app. Now if you haven't done the graphics yet, then you can skip ahead and move on and continue coding. But I highly recommend working on the graphics and doing them now, so as you test the app later, you can find graphic mistakes or anything like that. If you decide to add the graphics at the very end, then as you're testing, you're going to be testing on old graphics and you won't see the graphics while you're testing, and you might not catch anything that's wrong. Alright, so let's get started and make the app look different. Here we go. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up our Bingo Hall folder, and that's what I have here on the left side. And actually before you do that, a great thing to do is to copy your whole Bingo folder and then paste it somewhere else, like in another folder, as sort of a backup, because now that we're going to be changing images and we did a little bit of coding change, you don't want to screw up the images and then not know what you changed and then have to start all over from scratch and then recode everything. So what I like to do is just copy everything we've done, move it over into like a backup place, and then we can mess with this this duplicate folder. So once you've done that, I can show you in here in the original folder the stuff that we need to change. The first one is in card selection folder. So this is, if you go into Bingo Hall, you go into the Bingo Hall folder, there's a card selection folder. The only images in here that we need to change are the level backgrounds, and they're named level 1 BG, level 2 BG. Make sure you get the capitalization right. And so there's 12 here, 12 backgrounds, and the same 12 backgrounds are also pasted in this folder called levels, so we're going to put them in two places. Now if I back out of here, there's also a level selection images folder, and this is the level images that you would click on to get into the level. So we have amusement here, jungle. Keep the names the same, keep them jungle, but obviously yours are going to be different. It's not going to be a jungle, but you want to keep the names of the files the exact same. Otherwise it's going to be messed up when you try to test this. So in here we have amusement selected, which is like a locked version. We have two of those that we need to replace. We also have candy and candy selected, gems and gems selected. Those are the images that we're going to want to replace, all the way down to here, winner selected. You don't need to change this lock button or icon if you don't want to, but we do need to change the level images so that it's different than the original. Last are the icons, and those are located in images.xc assets folder. Inside there's appicon.appicon.set, and if you go in, there's a bunch of different icons here that we need to change. So there's about 16 icons here of different sizes that we need to change. What you're going to do is replace these files as well. So on the right side is I have kind of like a pretend version of images that I'm going to change. So I'm going to run through it with you and we're going to see if this works. So first one is card selection. I only have one file here. Normally you would have more, you'd be changing a lot more images than that. Not a ton. This is a great app because there's not a lot of images to change. It's only 12 levels, so I have level 1 bg.ping, and I'm basically just going to drag it over and replace. So now I have this new level 1 background. Now you would normally do that for 2 through 12 also. And like I said, we need to put it into levels also. Actually, so I'm going to, instead of dragging it, I probably should have copied and pasted. I'm going to copy it, paste it into here as well. Replace. So there we go, I have a new background. So I just replaced all my backgrounds. Well, level 1 I replaced, but you should be replacing all of them. So I'm going to go back to my original folder here with all my images, and I'm going to go to level selection images, and here again I only have one, but you'll be replacing a few of these. Actually, I'm just going to rename this real quick so that it matches perfectly. Alright, so I'm doing the amusement selected one, and then I'm going to drag it over and replace. Alright, I'm also going to show you how to do an icon. So I'm not going to do all the icons, but I did one size for you. I did the icon small 1, which is, I believe it's 29 by 29. I'm going to drop that into the correct folder, which again is images.xc assets folder and app icons folder in there. And so I just replaced this one, it's that black one right here. Alright, so I changed those 3 images, and obviously you're going to do all of these here and in the other sections I told you about. And what you're going to do is go back in Xcode and then go to Product Clean. Once that's done, I want you to go into your Bingo project. Make sure this triangle is selected so that you see all these folders here. Go into Bingo Hall folder and go to images.xc assets and make sure your icon changed. So you can see this black one, that's the 29 by 29 one that I changed. If it didn't change here, you might need to drag them in. So all you have to do for that, you would go into your app icon set, and what you can do is just drag it in. So you can take this black one, the one that I replaced, drag it into the right spot like that. Now you'll notice that there's sizes here. It shows 29 1x and 2x. Same here, 29 1x and 2x. There's 40 1x and 2x. What that means is this first one is 1x of 29, so it's 29 by 29. This 2x would be double that, so the size of the icon here would be 58 by 58. So you need to make sure, if you're doing the drag and drop, you need to make sure that you get the sizes correct and you're dragging the right files over. The right sizes go into the right size boxes here. And one last thing about this screen is you'll notice it's getting cut off. I have no idea why it's set up this way, but if you can't see all of them and you can't like drag over here, you might need to just take off these side windows. And to do that, you just go to the top right, and I'm going to click on this sidebar and this sidebar. Now I just made space, I can see all this here. Alright, so I'm going to put those back on. Again, I only replaced one icon, so there's just one change here. And we can go ahead and test this. So click on the play button to run it. So while that's loading, I'll tell you, this is not a lot of graphics for a reskin. One of the fewest that we've ever had, or that I've ever dealt with we have like 20 plus source codes that we've worked with, and this is probably the fewest graphic assets. So you can easily get a graphic designer to do this for you, or you can do it yourself and just license some graphics from a site like graphicriver.net. You can get like a bunch of backgrounds, and then you can just resize them correctly, and then just put them right into this app. And then icons, you just have the graphic designer create one app icon, and then he just needs to resize it, or you can resize it to all these different sizes here. That usually only takes like a couple minutes. It's the one icon though that he has to design, or you can also design that yourself. And then those little level images that they click on to get into the level, there's not many of those, so a graphic designer shouldn't charge you a lot for that. Or same thing, you take that into your own hands. We do plan to eventually create a graphic Udemy course, so depending on when you're watching this course, and it might already be done, come check out the other courses we have to offer, and we might have a course on how to really quickly make your own graphics for this, very simply. It's pretty easy. Alright, so I'm all loaded up, and if I go over to the right, there we go. I did a really terrible image here just to show you though how easy it is. But level 1, actually it wasn't level 1, I did the amusement level, which is level, was this 4, 5, 6, 7 I think. I put moneyfromapps.com. So there you go, it works. It was super easy. All I did was drag the file over and replace it. I didn't have to do anything else, and the graphics start changing. And if I go into the animals level, that's the background that I changed. And there's my App11 ad. Yep, it says cash money from apps.com on the right, and I put hi on the left. So that's working. The background was that easy to change, and those are the only things you do need to change are the backgrounds and those level banners. You don't need to change this here, this 1 card, 2 card, 3 card, 4 card part, and you don't need to change the buttons at the bottom. Of course, that's up to you. You can change them all. It's just there'll be a lot of graphics that you do need to change if you want to do a full reskin like that. But this is really cool. If you look at the bottom, it has this little effect on it, and it's working on top of the background image. You can see that the C is a little raised up. It looks like this little image on here is kind of creating a little effect on it. It's a neat little thing that you don't need to change, but it's going to add it on top of your background and make it a little nicer. So that's it, guys. If you change all the backgrounds and we go back to the home screen, and if you change all the level images here also, then you're good to go. And I'd put the name in, like we have animals written here at the top. You'll notice if you replace the image and you go for the full size, it takes up this much space. So you can put in the level name here at the top, or you can put it down in the middle, whatever you want to do. But also notice that requires XP is already written here. So it's on top of the image, so you want to leave space for that. Same with this lock. That's an image that's being placed on top of this level banner. So just leave that space open and then create your level banner around it. Not too difficult. Again, a graphic designer should not charge a lot for this if you're replacing the bare minimum here. Alright, so that's it. Mess around with that, change your images, or get a graphic designer to help you, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.